Alright everyone, so today I just wanted to talk about the difference between nutritional balancing and allopathic medicine, which is what you would consider to be normal medicine that we practice most of the times with doctors in this country. So I just wanted to highlight the differences between these two systems of healing, how they're different, why I believe nutritional balancing is a much better method of healing, and why I truly believe it's the future of medicine. Okay. So on the left you can see you have nutritional balancing, and then on the right we would have allopathic medicine, or what you'd call, modern medicine, and how we practice it. So the first thing that we have to realize is this concept of this concept of thinking in systems. Allopathic medicine, it's very important to realize, treats the body as separate parts. You have an eye doctor, you have a lung doctor, you have any number of doctors for each specific part of the body. And then what they're doing is they're prescribing certain things to heal that part of the body. Now nutritional balancing is very different. As you can see, it takes a whole systems approach, okay? Because it's very important to heal the body at the deepest level that we treat the body as a system. Your body is not separate parts, okay? So mental stress is part of the system, physical stress, emotional, even spirituality is part of the system. How balanced you are, how grounded you are as a person, your digestive health, your diet, your lifestyle. All these things have to do with health. So we can't just view the body as all these separate parts. So your thyroid is in trouble, so we need to prescribe you thyroid medicine, okay? If you have heart palpitations, we need to prescribe you things for your heart palpitations. All these things are imbalances in the system. And if we take a whole systems approach and we heal the body as a system, then all these latent conditions just typically go away by themselves, okay? So it's very important to realize, and this, system thinking is kind of a hard thing for us to get our minds around. But once you realize its beauty and its simplicity, and then you can even apply it to your life, as a system. Our country is a system, the world is a system, the universe is a system, everything is a system. And it's very naive of us to think that all these separate parts are in some way disconnected from the whole. Another major difference is the use of remedies, okay? Remedies are things like antibiotics and stuff, okay? You get an ear infection in allopathic medicine, they give you antibiotics, or they give you things for your heart. If you have high cholesterol, they're going to give you a cholesterol pill. If they can't, all types of things, alright? So in nutritional balancing, we don't typically use remedies, okay? Remedies can be useful for a short period of time during a healing reaction. For example, if an old infection is brought up and you retrace, like you have flu-like symptoms or something like that for a week, it may be a good idea to increase your vitamin C, increase your vitamin A, take more of your multivitamin, or something like colloidal silver maybe for infections. That's typically the only circumstance that we would ever recommend remedies. Now, it's important to realize that we do use supplements, but they're not remedies, and that they're not trying to get rid of a certain symptom. Remedies are for symptoms, okay? So if you have an underactive thyroid, they give you thyroid medicine they give you the thyroid hormone right into your body so that your body has enough of the thyroid hormone. Whereas in nutritional balancing, we would try to balance the whole system, and so your body would have, because your body has means of healing all these things, okay? If your thyroid is underactive, for example, your body has means to heal your thyroid. And if you give your body all the tools that it needs to heal these things, then they typically heal themselves. Now we do use certain supplements, things like CalMags, calcium, magnesium, a digestive enzyme, something to balance the adrenals, glandulars to help heal specific organs. But these are all trying to heal the system. Okay, these aren't, we don't give people more calcium because they have a certain system, a certain condition, okay? We don't give people more calcium because they have heart palpitations or anything like that. We never use any specific remedies. So everything is trying to balance the system as a whole, so the body has enough vitality to deal with these things on its own. That's important to realize. Another thing with allopathic medicine is toxicity problems, okay? People do not realize how toxic these things are. Even Advil and Tylenol are toxic for your liver. People don't realize, if you research, like I have, Tylenol and Advil are actually pretty damn toxic for your liver. And a lot of liver problems and liver failures are actually due to people taking Tylenol and Advil all the time. Okay, so even simple things like that we don't think in our society that they have any effect on, it's like, oh, I'm just taking a Tylenol, every day or for my aches and pains. We have no concept of the harm that these things do to our bodies. And the same is true for all the things that allopathic medicine recommends to us. Even broad spectrum antibiotics are a good example. When they destroy your gut flora and they wreak havoc on your system, those are also liver toxic. All these different pills, all these different hormone therapies, all these things have side effects. Okay, all these things have side effects. Okay, and all these things are toxic to your liver, they're toxic to your colon. They plug you up, and they all have effect upon us. And the thing about nutritional balancing science is that we don't use anything with toxicity in it, okay? We're using minerals and vitamins to rebalance body chemistry, okay, in order to heal the system, okay? So there's no toxicity, okay? That brings us to our next thing. Nutritional balancing is very gentle, okay? One of the things that we should practice in medicine is do no harm, okay? Now, a leading cause of death in this country is actually medicine itself. There's side effects with everything. People usually have an army of doctors, older people especially in our country, have an army of doctors just to keep us healthy because they have a million different symptoms, they need a million different pills, and their health just declines until they die, okay? And also, money, okay? How many people do you know that have spent so much money on these, these conditions that we can't even describe? When you think of chronic fatigue syndrome, or you think of candida, or you think of fibromyalgia, all these, or these kind of conditions where I'm tired all the time. That's a big complaint, in our society. That's why when you go to the grocery store, they have a whole aisle now for Rock Stars and Red Bulls, all these energy drinks with a bunch of sugar and caffeine. It's because we are a tired society, and you can see it on people's hair analysis. Most people are in an exhaustive state of stress. Their adrenals are shot, their thyroids are underactive, they don't have very good digestive health, and their bodies are sick and tired. And it's just getting worse. It's sad, but it's just getting worse. And so these people look for the answers, and they're willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for all these crazy therapies, like chelation therapy, and all these, sketchy drugs that, who knows why they've been approved by the FDA. And then they're always coming out with new ones, promising people. And then, I know so many, especially young women with chronic fatigue syndrome, and they just go through thousands and thousands of dollars doing all these therapies because all these different doctors are telling them, each doctor's telling them something different. And then I have fibromyalgia, or they can't even decide what the condition is they have, because the truth of the matter is, no one knows what they have. They just feel tired all the time. They can't get out of bed. That's the condition. We just give a name to it, like fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome. These are just, fancy names, and then next week they think of a different name. Alright, now I'm ranting a little bit, but it's okay. So also, it's important to realize it's much cheaper. Nutritional balancing is much cheaper. A full nutritional balancing program costs about $1,800 a year. And now that's $1,800 a year. That's fairly expensive for some people. But when you think of these people with these health problems and how much money they're spending, I know people that spend tens of thousands of dollars, in one, you can spend $10,000 in one go. And you also have to think of the hospital bills that you will have if you have to go to the emergency room. If you have a heart attack or something like that, because your body is unbalanced and your heart starts to give out, how much is that going to cost you? One hospital, if you use an emergency room, can easily cost you, $50,000. It can cost you $50,000 for one overnight stay in a hospital. It's ridiculous. And so it's much cheaper, safer, and gentler to use these programs. And it's also much gentler on the body. We're respecting the body's, order of healing things. Because the truth of the matter is, your body has mechanisms of dealing with all these things. And if you give your body what it needs by balancing body chemistry and, changing your lifestyle, changing your diet, grounding yourself, and doing the detoxification procedures, things like infrared sauna are really good. Actually, they advance people much, much faster on these programs. And, your body has means to heal all these things. Not only that, not only will you become healthier, But there's also some very interesting side effects with nutritional balancing. You know, your mind becomes clearer, okay, so you can perform better in school, you can perform better in work, you have more energy, and it's also, you know, also enhances your spirituality, you know. You know, the spirit, the mind, and the body are all intimately connected, and that's one thing we also don't talk about, is, you know, it's also somewhat like a spiritual journey. You become more spiritual, you know, to a certain extent. So anyways, that's just the things that I want to talk about, the difference between nutritional balancing and allopathic medicine. And, you know, these are the reasons why I'm so excited about sharing these things with you, and why I believe this is truly the future of medicine, because it's much more preventive. You know, if we put our kids on these programs, we could balance their body chemistry within a year or two when they're really young, when they're still they're more healthy, because, you know, they're less toxic and everything, and they have more energy to heal themselves because they're still young. You know, that was my dream, just put every kid, you know, every kid in America on one of these programs, and, you know, you could just virtually wipe out all these diseases, you know, ADD and autism and all this shit. Especially if you put on pregnant mothers on these programs too. You know, this is amazing for pregnant mothers. It's even recommended that mothers go on a program for a year before they get pregnant, and then they continue on the program when they get pregnant. But it's still really good when they do it when they get pregnant, because the children will be healthier. You know, we don't realize that even our DNA is affected by all these toxins and how healthy we are. Genes get turned off and on all the time. You know, we don't realize, you know, things like autism and stuff. We say, oh, it's in the genetics, or, you know, heart disease is in the genetics. Well, genes get turned off and on all the time. And if you take the time to detoxify your body and, you know, balance your biochemistry, you know, all your good genes will get turned on. You know, genes are a good thing. They've been passed to you generationally. Alright, now I'm ranting again. So that's just what I want to talk about, why I believe it's the future of medicine, and I hope to talk to you guys later, and I'll see you guys later.